All right, so another video of Wusik Station 10 coding, and the last thing I was doing is fixing. Let me open here. The code was fixing the rendering of the knobs when they are being drawn, because this is drawing just the square of the knob, not the whole interface. So it has to draw the background, the darker background, and the label. So this is working now. The mouse click was also having some problems, but I figured out what was going on and fixed that as well. Because sometimes when you move the mouse very fast, it doesn't send the information that the mouse moved over a component. So when you click it, you have to check if there's no component detected. It has to check again if there is any component there. Now, the other thing I want to do is the problem when we have the component near the top or the bottom. So let's say the component's like showing half here. Because when I move the screw bar, I draw everything, then I draw the top area and the screw bar, and then the overlay. But when I click on the frequency here, it's going to draw the background and the whole thing. So I have to create some code to detect that and redraw the top area here, just the small square, and not the whole thing. And the same thing goes when it's too close to the bottom here. It draws over the overlay. So I was starting to do something per component, but I didn't like that. So I'm going to scrub that. I'm going to use something else. Mind. I'm not going to have this anymore. But the layers here. Let's take a look. We have the draw layers. I'm trying to remember something. Okay, it's on the components drawings. But first I need to create a position on where it should start, because I can't use the layer area, because since there's an overlay on top, the overlay is a bit higher with the transparency. Transparency. Oh, that's one hard word to say. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I have the background here. Then on top of it, there is a overlay. There's this overlay here that goes on the top. So if you go here and move it to the right place, you can see there going on the top. So that overlay is the most problematic one, because it has a bit of a shadow. So I have to worry about that as well. So I would say that ends around 146, which is the layer start. But depending on the graphic we use here, let's say we have more shadow, it's not going to be the same as where the layers start. So I want to have this information separated so it's easier to handle. So layer, overlay, top, lay. Let's say start and end. And you can say 146 seems to be correct. Like, too long. 46 is good. And then the end to be 2148 and 48. So anything above 146 needs to be redrawn. Anything that is below 2148 will also redraw. And your top overlay start and end. Now I have to store this in a variable. Just going to use, I'm not going to use a, well, I can use a pointer for that, not a problem. Layer, overlay, start, end. And then I can read it. Add skin, get skin point. Let's get the data. Okay, now we have the layer overlay start and end. And now I also need an array. But this time an array of pointers. Always get confused when creating an array of pointers, but that should be component of draws. It's something like that. I could use an on array, but then I have to always clear it in a way that doesn't delete the stuff. I never tried that. To be honest, I don't know how to do that in an automated way. So I'm going to try to use the pointer. Maybe it doesn't work, I don't know. So the idea now is that every time I clear the interface or update the interface, to remove everything from that array. And now when I draw, not, I'm no longer going to use this. If size higher than 0, take care of that and clears. And now when I draw, it's on the user update. Should be should be when I draw each of the components. Not these ones I don't care, because they always go on the top. But instead, these ones. So let's say it was repainted. Now we're going to check positioning. So if the positioning to the bottom first, which is the easy one. So if the positioning of the object is going past, actually is not just as, it's the positioning plus the height. It's higher than that, not equal. Then we can add to this. We add to the list the component. Seems to be okay. And we can also add an or the component positioning. It's pretty much the same thing here. Have the total blob area. We have to worry about the offset as well. Now that I remember, let me check. Where is the guy? Uses the offset Y. So we have to calculate that as well. Plus the offset Y. This is for the end. Now, if it's lower than the top area, then we add as well. So now this part is completed. Now we go to the layers drawn and we check that. Then the first thing is draw the top background, but only if the positioning is on the top. We can go like, oh, it should be an iterator. thing we'll do is to clear it. So if X positioning can actually copy from here. Forgot to add the offset as well. To get the positioning Y set Y plus positioning get high. All that is lower the end top positioning. We draw the top background, otherwise we don't. And you only draw the size of the width of the actual thing. So we're going to place this on the X area. But let me divide this because it's easier to read, otherwise I get confused. Oh, close it. So this is the position, the X positioning. And this should be the offset. Yeah, the offset positioning. So the offset is also going to be that. And then the width is going to be that. And for the height, I'm going to use that. So what's should happening that is going to check if the knob is on the right place. I'm going to create here this check. Just to double check it's right in the correct place. Take some water. Okay, that's weird. Oh, it's crashing. Okay, let me check again a few things. Let me try to debug this or I go too crazy. Quick look in here, but too far in here. Just going to disable this. Check. Let me check what I'm doing wrong there. Maybe it doesn't like that I'm trying to handle something empty. I don't know. I'll try again. Well, it's loading now. Rated 012. Oh, yes, because when I created the knobs, they had to redraw, and then it's draw again. It's just the first time. So I can see that this is working. And let's see when it's on the top is getting detected. Oh, it's not. But on the bottom is getting detected. The top is not. Let's check the math again. The top is working. We check again in here. Get the position in Y, the offset. Right. We just invert this so it's easier to read. It gets confusing. I think I have to use the height in this case because I'm just checking. Yeah, I'm checking the base of the image. It will be like this because I'm already checking if it's on screen. That should do it. Good, this is good. Bottom is on the top. Forgot to I forgot to change the other code here. If this guy here is lower than X, then it's going to drop. Then I have to check the bottom. And I also have to check if it's not on top of the preset name here, the preset name. If it's on top of the preset name, it has to redraw the preset name as well. It's almost perfect drawing the background. And also going to have knobs in here for macros, so I also have to check for those two in the same place, but not right now. Let me recheck how I draw everything, because it's the last thing I do to have the main background. Main background is the same thing as, yeah, this main is the top background. Okay, so I have the top background. Toolbar, preset name, and then the overlay. Then I have to check. check again if it's in the preset area. So preset area positioning. I always get confused by this, but not this actually. Intersects. Intersects with another rectangle, which can be oh actually no, it's not that. I have to check if the position of the knob intersects with the preset name positioning. Intersects. That happens. But right now I don't have any component that is going to do that, so I can't really test, but soon I'm going to test. And finally, I'm going to draw a partial decal for the overlay. And the overlay also starts from 0 because it has a space on the top. So everything else can stay the same. Should draw already. And I can also go here and check to see if it's on the bottom with its positioning. By the offset and the height go past the second part. Double check that. My offset and get height. Then in this case, I draw just the partial decal or the overlay. Could just also do like this. Oh, actually not, no. Because in here it has to be on the bottom. Let me check this positioning. Okay, so it's going to be the position of knob and on the bottom there. Here and also on the bottom. Now the size. Their background. Not that. It is total height. No, the total height is fixed. 2100 and something. Let me double check. The resolution of 4K again. I'm going to check here. Overlay. 2160. 2160 minus the Y positioning. And that should do it. I'll have the top and the bottom. So the preset name you have to check. Also going to have the macros and the tree view soon. But for now, that's pretty much it. I also have to fix another problem that I forgot, is that the filter has more than one, say that, more than one type of background. I have to create that as well. It's working correctly now, as expected. No funny things here. Yeah, it's working perfectly. Very nice. Let's take a look at performance. Not going crazy or anything. Just when we screw, then it does a lot of work when scrolling. But that's expected. There's a lot of stuff happening. So okay, the next step I want to do is change the knob moving, because right now it's not moving with the, all that again, drag, mouse drag. It has to move with the mouse drag. So I'm going to create that as well, and at least see it moving more smooth. Move. Another word I would like to say. Mouse drag, mouse down. What happens when you press the mouse down? We need the original parameter value. Preview. That's what we need. And we don't need to repaint. We just repaint when we drag the mouse up and down. Now, spread going to J limit 0.0. Previous value plus the distance y, float of distance y times 0.01. Then I have to check what's going to look better. We don't, and we set a value, then repaint, and float. Then I'm going to check for the keyboard modifying flag. First, if button left Otherwise, we don't do anything for now, but we have to open a menu to learn media and stuff like that. And other options are going to be there. Then a multiplier. So if and holding shift, and the multiplier is going to be 0.1, 0.1, and it should work. Just have to check now if 0.01 is good enough. Because to be honest, that should, oh, not good. Okay, let's take a look at what's going on. Its previous value. Oh, I have to accumulate the distance. I forgot. Because this is not being accumulated anywhere. There is one. See, because I have to check now here. 0. Y. Then the accumulator. Because it's going to call the mouse drag just for that distance. Do this in a different way, to be honest. There are two things I'm wondering, because using the pixels to determine. Now with shift you go much, without shift you go very fast. But let me think of something, because let's say we have 1080p, which is my monitor right now, but in 4K is going to be 4 times as many pixels. So it's going to be different. So there are two things I'm going to change in here, which obviously going to break a few of the code. First, the distance. I'm going to make the distance already accumulate, so I don't have to worry about that. I'm not going to have a distance AC anymore. Distance Y. And then also the distance, I'm going to make it relative. So I'm going to think on a way to do that. So the good thing is that only one piece of code using the distance Y, which is the knob. That's going to be easier to fix. going to have to create another variable. We're going to call total drag distance. Then I have to remember to set it to 0 every time I press a button. Total drag distance. That's integer. Total drag distance. So that should be good enough. Then we no longer use this guy. Like this instead. And I click the mouse click it. Just set to 0 if the mouse was just pressed. That should already help, but I also want to do something here. I want the mouse movement to be not just relative to the points in the screen. There is a way to check the size of the screen, all that stuff, but instead I want to check the size of the window because it can be full screen or a small window. Going to be a small window, then have to scale for that. Trying to figure out how to do the math. Distance. Then I go like that. Don't know yet how I'm going to do this. So for now, I'm going to leave like that. But it is something I want to do. I can then use just the the window height to check against a table, I guess. Working. Check what's wrong. Interesting. Back. Sending information even with when there is no mouse. Check this dragging. No, just in case, I'm going to double check that. Okay, that's a bit weird. Working correctly now. And it's not working anymore. Yeah. Seems that the mouse is getting stuck or something like that. Yeah. Check that. Working. It seems a bug with the mouse routine. Anyway, it's working. If I press shift, very slow. Without shift, goes faster. Hey, it's looking good. Yes, I think it is. Anyway, so what I want to do now is populate the top area here. Then later I'm going to fix the filter because I need to have, if I'm not mistaken, more than one filter background. It's the wrong thing. Check on the Wusik Station 9 skin. Custom filter background. Parameter background. Okay. Then you have the filter or already 8. It's just those two. I also use the other filter. So I need a filter that doesn't have the frequency resonance mode, just the mix and volume, if I'm not mistaken, for the custom filter. Not a big deal, but I have to create that. Everything else seems to be correctly working. Just the mouse sometimes is glitching out. Let's say I'm moving here and I go off screen. gets stuck. But I'm on a multi-monitor setup, so maybe I have to check if it goes off screen and just release the mouse manually. See what happens if I release on the other screen. She'll get stuck. So it's not too much of a big deal, but we'll have to worry about that. So we're going to take a short break and later I come back. Thanks for watching.